Yo, call me a remaster Wade. These nuts are the flame of disaster. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today, and only today, I wanted to actually sit down and talk about Sonic X Shadow Generations for the last big conversation before the big release of the game. We are officially, if you are a pre-order deluxe owner, 1 week away from the game, and I figured we'd sit down, talk about how the hype has been so far, how this game went from something we just didn't expect at all to the hype cycle of a new Sonic game, or in this case, a new Shadow game. And of course, if you guys are ready and excited for extensive coverage of this game once out, make sure, of course, to subscribe to your boy and get ready for a crazy week of hype. So, Sonic X Shadow Generations, first of all, I can't believe this because there really going into this year wasn't a lot of rumors of a Sonic Gens remaster. I think it's something people always wanted and something we've been asking for a long time, just because, you know, it was very surreal for this game that is one of the most beloved Sonic games not to be available on places like PlayStation natively, right, or on Nintendo Switch of all places. And then we randomly woke up to a state of play of all things to get Sonic Generations announced, and the big surprise being seeing our boy Shadow in there. And I gotta say, man, this was one of the most confident reveals and one of the most shocking, because right away from the get-go, our first reveal for Shadow Gens, not as just Shadow, but we see Black Doom of all characters come back. And I to this day cannot process we're playing a game with Black Doom, because stuff from Shadow 05 is something that I know the fans nowadays like, but you gotta remember, for a long time Shadow 05 was a bit of a joke, right? You know, the guns were a meme. The stuff with Black Doom was never referenced ever. Like, they never make references to in any of the games. They made it something that they were almost like hiding and not happy about. So for them to bring back Black Doom and sort of be like, all right, we're gonna understand the assignment here, is so cool. And what excites me about the game so much and everything about it is just like, what are they gonna do with it now that we have a modern writing style and everything? Like, I get excited thinking about the prospects of what's going on with the stuff with Black Doom, especially in a game that feels now so content filled. I mean, we're getting 2 games in one here, which is unbelievable, because I really thought going into, you know, the Gens remaster, all right, when we first saw the trailer, maybe we're finally gonna get a level or 2 for Sonic Generations. But I really do think this is one of the most genius ways to have done a remaster, because let's think of like the smartassness of it. Like, these are levels, the stuff they're doing for Shadow Gens is stuff that I would have wanted in base Sonic Gens. Like, I would have asked for, in Sonic Gens, for a Frontiers level. I would have asked for an actually good represented Forces level in the Gens engine. I asked for so long for Kingdom Valley, you know, in Sonic Generation. So to see these levels make way to Shadow Gens, you're not only getting a new game that represents Sonic Gens in there, but we're getting, you know, more levels representing the history of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, obviously, we don't really know or understand how they're adding modern levels to Shadow Gens. Maybe they'll explain it. I don't know, because we know it takes place around the same time period. So how are areas like Chaos Island and then Sunset Heights? Maybe they won't explain it. Maybe they will. I don't know. At the end of the day, Doom and Time Eater are able to mess with the flow of time regardless of when it is. So it could just be showing him future places in the world. But why would Shadow be there? And it's also important to talk about the fact that this game is such a big deal. Now, I never like when companies are like, hey, buy this so to see if you need more. But I do think we need to buy this to make sure Sega knows, yes, we want games that star the other characters, because Shadow Gens is basically the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, since Shadow 05, or even I would say, if you want to make a stretch, 06, that characters have had their own campaigns. Because if you remember correctly, in Sonic 06, you know, each character is their own campaign, even if they're part of the same grand story. And Frontiers, like, you're swapping to them, you know, for one story, but it's not the same thing. This is really the first time since the 2000s that a character has gotten their own game or their own thing represented. And so I think this is such an important game to make it clear to Sega that, yes, other characters can sell. Now, I don't think every character can necessarily sell a Sonic game, and I think that's the genius of remastering a game with some new content. Like, obviously, I would love a Silver Unleashed. Maybe that would be really cool if Silver got some new content, or if they found some way to, you know, remaster Sonic 06, give Silver some new content in there. I would love if they brought back Sonic Rush and then added, you know, some more Blaze levels. Like, I think stuff like that to represent more characters and do more with the cast is going to be so important. But to see Shadow get so much spotlight, and when I think about this game, I think probably the best marketing cycle for a Sonic game I've ever seen, because we all know the drill, we all know the way when it comes to Sonic games, right? Typically what happens is we see it, we're excited, we get the first gameplay reveal, and we're like, okay, wait, this looks good, but right? And then you see more at events and you're like, wait, but what's going on, right? And this and that, but ifs, ands, people are fighting, arguing. Does this look good? Does this look that? I haven't seen that at all for this game. I mean, genuinely, from first initial reveal hype to, you know, Summer Games Fest trailer that showed gameplay even when I got to play it, seeing how fucking polished the game was. It's probably going to be the most polished experience of a Sonic game today. I mean, everything they've shown looks good. And unless something disastrous is hiding that we all haven't heard about, somehow everything just looks good this time around, you know, and it's exciting to see that they've learned how to market a game. Even if you think about the exterior stuff, like Shadow Dark Beginnings being a thing, right, or some of the stuff they're doing with the comics, and obviously tying it into the movie marketing, like everything they've done for this. The story trailer was immaculate. The Shadow with the wings is crazy. Like, just, I feel personally, and you guys can tell me otherwise, right? What's been your favorite marketing piece for Shadow Gen so far? Because I think it's almost funny to see that less people are talking about Sonic Generations than they are Shadow Gens. Now, there are rumors and rumblings out there that Sonic Gens is gonna be rewritten, and I'm curious to see. I doubt it would be anything drastic, but it is interesting if they do go the route to, you know, revoice stuff, remaster, you know, the dialogue or whatever. But I'm down with that. If they do that, good for that, right? But it's unbelievable to see how Shadow Gens has stolen the show. And also, it's important to get this because, you know, we need more. We need more remasters. It is really rare for Sega to remaster or remake even any of the 3D games, right? And so I think all of us agree, like, we'd love a Heroes remake, right? We want Adventure 2, maybe remastered, remade, retouched, right? We would love Sonic Unleashed to come back. Like, there are Sonic titles that are just in the grave somewhere, and we don't have them. And hopefully this sells really well. And it's so funny, in contrast to Sonic Colors Ultimate, when that, you know, was being shown and people were overanalyzing, and obviously the release with, you know, the engine being all fucked up. Now, granted, this game's not out, so we don't know yet, but from the previous events, like, you with Sonic Colors, if you see the first level, you already know different lighting engine physics, yada yada yada, and people could already figure it out. And people have seen Green Hill Zone gameplay from Sonic Gen's remaster, and we're like, okay, so it's just Sonic Generations. There's a drop dash. I wish maybe there was some better additions to base gens. Now, granted, I compare this a lot to Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, where really all they did was add the online multiplayer and sped up the game. There's not really new levels and stuff. And obviously Shadow Gens is covering new levels, but it is nice to see that, you know, they're doing potentially some audio changes. There's going to be these Chao missions in the level where you rescue Chao. You do have the drop dash if you so want. I mean, obviously with Classic Sonic, it's going to help a bit more keep the flow going, but I don't know. I'm just happy. I think this is probably going to be also, it's like $50 too, which I think that's going to be the big thing that pushes it, right? It's like, it's going to be $50. Everyone's gonna be like, all right, that's awesome value. And obviously movie tie-in marketing, you know, that's gonna be really what it comes down to, is people are gonna be buying this game before the movie comes live, and then they're gonna be buying this game after the movie because they're like, damn, I just want to play something with Shadow in it. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if after Sonic Movie 3 came out, you saw this game re-spike up in sales, because I'm telling you, man, after people leave that theater, they're gonna be like, I need to play something with Shadow the Hedgehog in it, and they're gonna lock into Shadow Gens, and it's gonna be really cool, man. And let's talk about some hopes and wishes for the game. So for Shadow Generations, I know we've seen a lot of the levels. We don't have a Shadow level in there yet. Of all the things we don't have in the game, a Shadow 05 level is not represented in Shadow Generations, and I'm hoping the last level is either going to be Black Comet, which is the last level in Shadow 05, or Westopolis. Would be really, really cool if they did that. So I would love something Shadow 05 related. It feels weird that we have, you know, Sunset Heights represented and Chaos Island represented and everything, but the game, you know, that this guy had his own game from and the villain is from. So one of those levels I feel like has to be the last level, and they're hiding it. That makes the most sense to me. And another thing I hope for this, you know, once we get to the end of it, I hope, please give me a crazy hype finale, because so far we've seen, you know, Metal Overlord and we've seen Bio Lizard, and to be honest, those bosses are cool, right? And they look dope and they're awesome, but they're definitely more on the grounded level, right? We're not on Titan scale where you're getting the craziest vocal themes with, you know, the craziest highs of all time. You're getting cool, well done boss, but I do hope the last boss, you know, whether it's Shadow flying to it or a super form or something, goes stupid. I mean, that to me is what'll make this peak, because we're already getting what looks like peak writing in terms of, you know, Dark Beginnings and what we've seen for the story stuff for Shadow Gens. But man, if we get to that end of that game and we're getting a crazy boss fight, oh my god, with some potential sadness with Maria stuff, because he sees Maria in there, and I think that's gonna be a thing that constantly comes up throughout the journey. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even think about it, man. And this is also like another dream hope. There's two dream hopes I hope. Is one, I hope the ending, because we know this game takes place during Sonic Gens. I do hope the ending of it is something that teases the future of Shadow, because I'm just curious to see where is this character going. Obviously, we know where he ends up, right? Because he is in Forces and stuff, but I would like maybe a teaser that shows maybe, you know, 10 years later, 5 years later, you know, or some time has passed since that event, and shows what Shadow is currently doing and what he might be doing in the future, right? Because, you know, we're getting glimpses here that this is going to be an open zone-esque game with the white space. Not necessarily open zone, but I guess maybe a little playground with white space. And this is maybe, you know, a stretch, but I do hope we get more DLC than just the Shadow Keanu level in December, which is coming. I don't know. This one might be a stretch, but I would love to just get more. I mean, the game looks awesome. It looks fun. I would love more costumes. You know, we just saw the Terrio skin today. We've seen the Jam Sonic, and we've seen obviously modern Sonic with the low poly, but I would love more costumes in there. You know, give me a Rider skin, give me a Black Knight skin. Go crazy with it, right? For each of the characters, and give me a level or two, man. Yeah, a new level for base gens would also be awesome to see. Like, I fuck with that. Overall, man, I'm just excited, bro. Going into this year, I thought this was gonna be a relaxed year for Sonic. I really thought we were gonna be carried by movie 3 hype and maybe a mobile game and maybe, you know, an advanced remaster, but it ended up being that damn. And even with Shadow Gens when it was first show, I was like, okay, we're gonna get some Shadow Gens content, it'll be cool. But now we ended up just getting the hype for a brand new game, basically, that's in Sonic Generations. Sonic Generations looking better than ever, and we're getting movie hype, and we've gotten other stuff, you know, like the Dark Beginning stuff and more comic stuff, and just there is so much stuff to consume, which I'm probably missing something because my brain just blanked out, you know. But oh yeah, we're getting Sonic Rumble later this year too. Like, there's just so much shit, and I just feel like the year of Shadow as a marketing bit has been so much fun and genuinely an exceptional thing that I don't think we can really get that much. I mean, I don't think many characters in Sonic can carry the year of moniker just like Shadow is, and it's just cool to see a character that, I gotta say, man, right, for the longest time I always liked Shadow, you know. In a lot of ways I'm like, Shadow's the coolest, but I feel like he was carried by like what I think about Shadow as opposed to what he's done, because he really has not been a relevant character for such a long time. So to see what we're in a point where he's being voiced better by Kirk Thornton, right, in a different direction, to see that he's getting his own game again, to see that, you know, Sega, Sonic Team, Iizuka, and everyone wanting to push Shadow to be like, hey, remember why you find this guy cool as shit? Well, we're gonna remind you, whether it's the Doom Power Wings, whether it's just how the action is, how seriously they're taking, how they're giving him a game that looks hella polished. Like, I just feel like Shadow is being so well taken care of, including movie stuff, that I really think this character is about to skyrocket in popularity. It's one of the few franchises where the player 2 is just as playable, is just as exciting, you know, and popular as the player 1. So it's gonna be really exciting to see where Shadow ends up by the end of this year. Guys, let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for Sonic Shadow Gens? What's the most exciting prospect to you? What do you want to see? I love you all. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned to the channel for the big playthrough coming up and everything. And of course, I love you. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.